you ever speak to me like that again, better be wearing a cup.
Baby steps.
One break, I'm in
Okay, friends, let's everybody take your positions, please. Here we go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, rolling. Dave!
And
Dave!
Unchained.
welcome to Dave and Dave Unchained, a Van Halen podcast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Dave.
And we are at episode 56, Dave. The summer is winding down. We're towards the end of August. And how are you feeling?
Feeling hot.
Feeling hot. Oh, boy.
Yes.
Is that from the weather outside or in the pants?
It's from the weather outside.
I think you're full of shit, but okay.
I applaud your optimism. Thank you very much.
Exactly. Well, before we get into any more trouble, let's get right into Van Halen news.
Van Halen.
News! Well, surprisingly, there's a lot of goddamn news. I tell you.
Yeah, I know. Like, what's going on with that, right?
I don't know, man. It's unbelievable. So, just to start off, we're going to start off with Sam. Sam did a little, he's an interesting character, Mr. Sam over here. He went out and he praised Wolf on Twitter. The Red Rocker came out and praised Wolf, saying, "Wolfie, that's a great answer." And he's talking about the statement that Wolf said, the last one that we talked about on the last, because I want to read the whole thing over again, but when Wolfie said, "Hey, this is not a Van Halen album, it's a Wolfgang Van Halen album, I'm only trying to be me, I'm not trying to be my dad," that whole thing, which was totally understandable, made 100% sense. We reported on that on the last Van Halen news, and now Sammy came out and responded to that directly to Wolf. So he said, "Wolfie, that's a great answer, and the only way you will ever be happy and satisfied is doing your own thing, the way you hear it in your head and feel it in your heart. You inherited genetically enough talent for 10 lifetimes to use it the way you want. P.S. I've heard a couple of snippets, and they are bad fucking ass. Hope I run into you someplace once we all get out of this prison, ha. Stay safe and love to your mom and dad." Now, Wolfie actually responded. He said, "Thanks so much for the kind words, Sam. Can't wait for you to hear it. Much love to you and yours. So, kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya."
Kumbaya.
This is
Sam is just sucking up trying to get back in the band.
Everybody has to remember that Wolfie and Sam do know each other, because everybody's like, wait a minute, how is that possible? Because he was just a baby when Sam left the band. However, not a baby, but a little kid. However, let's remember, 2004, he was on tour with them. If everybody remembers, Wolfie came out on tour in 2004 when Sammy did the reunion tour with Van Halen. So he knows Sam well, that's for sure. Wow, this is the Red Rocker getting kind of slick, going in the old back door, as they say, Dave. And maybe Eddie Van Halen reads the tweet and says, "Oh, Sammy ain't that bad," you know. So that's
No, that's not happening.
No, you don't think so? Well,
No,
I think that was Sam putting a little catnip out there. You know what I'm saying? I think.
Yeah, I think so. And
yeah.
and by the way, I love the fact that Wolf is 29, I think, and you still call him Wolfie. I think that's so cute.
Well, we don't call him Wolfie. What do we call him?
No, we call him Wolf.
Well, wait a second. Everybody calls him Wolfie. No?
No.
Oh, wait a minute. So because when he was little,
You're
we
an
called
old
him
man
Wolfie?
calling him Wolfie. He goes by Wolf.
All right, the Wolf. All right. I apologize. Well, to Mr. Wolfgang, I apologize. I will use Wolf from now on. I'm so sorry. I got too familiar there.
You're getting a little too chummy with somebody you don't know.
Exactly. So I think his words were genuine, but I also think it's part of his plan to get back in the band. Who knows? But you just never know. It might work. You never know. What do you think?
I think Sam was genuine. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, don't get me wrong. He knows what he's doing.
Oh, yeah. He's a businessman. Sam is a businessman. Let's remember that. Very smart businessman. Also talking about Sam, Sammy Hagar and The Circle did their lockdown sessions number 9. And, we got very Van Halen on this one. Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do. I love this tune. This was the original first single off of the Balance album from 1995. Now, let's remember, folks, this is a very challenging song, okay? It's sort of up there with Dreams, I would imagine, as two of the most very challenging Sammy Hagar songs. Both amazing songs. And I happen to have loved this song. This is a little bit of darker version, a little thicker, which I really enjoyed. This is a little clip of it right here.
It's okay. I'll do what I want if I choose. I can take the fall. It's my choice. It's my destiny in my hands. That's up to me. The sugar gun in the streets. Score me some heroin. Be the sacrifice. Be the cross. Just like Jesus Christ. And the boy he was loved you. No one ain't gonna tell you what's right for you.
Now, as you can tell, it doesn't have quite the punch that Van Halen gives it with that Alex Van Halen drums and Eddie real riffing, but don't get me wrong, these guys are fantastic. So Sammy Hagar sounds amazing. The killer vocals, he doesn't go quite as high as the original recording, but he wasn't cracking either. He just did it a little differently. There's more harmony added to this one with Michael Anthony and Vic Johnson kind of coming in. Michael's pounding that bass. Listen to that bass on that recording. That's really something else there. Sammy actually apparently tweeted Eddie Trunk, who had talked about this recently on his radio show on Sirius XM, Trunk Nation, and he said that he wanted to do this song because he wanted to add in the harmonies. Originally, he wanted that on the recording, and Eddie was against it. Hagar had said this comment about the song recently. It's a recent comment. When I heard that Kurt Cobain had taken his own life, the first thing I thought was, I wish I was there and I could have saved him. The original title for these lyrics were, I want to show you what love can do. But it was such a dark, horrible thing, I just couldn't shine a light on it, so I changed the final line to Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do. It was a time of breaking up of Van Halen, our last album and our last tour, so it added a lot of emotion, negativity, and pain in the original vocal performance, which surfaced the second I started singing the song for the first time since 1995. Dave, what did you make of this?
I think you're right. I think the original version is one of the more challenging, vocally challenging songs.
Sure, yeah.
I thought the group pulled it off. They slightly rearranged the song and the vocals.
Right.
I mean, even beyond the background vocals, I think it sounded different. Not bad.
Right. No, it was good.
Different. Yeah. I was not as enamored with Mike's bass playing this time
around.
Oh,
really? Okay.
As you were. I think because I was watching him play, and I swear for most of the song, he was playing the same note, the same string, practically the whole time.
Right.
And it just reminded me of the fact that, in the beginning, Mike was, I don't want to say he was all over the bass, but there was more varied bass playing.
Right.
By the time Balance came along, Ed had pretty much neutered him to, you're just going to play this one note again and again and not get in my way, which I think Mike did this time around when he created the song.
Right.
So you can hear the bass.
Right.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
But I didn't think I've seen him do a lot better.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can be honest with you. I think I'm just happy to hear a little thicker bass. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
But it's so happy, but then when I see him play, it's like, I always hear people say, oh, Mike's just going to play the root eighth note, and that's what he's going to do. Right. Now, I have no idea what that means, as I'm not a musician. But I feel like that's what he might have been doing on this song.
That's true.
Because he really wasn't stretching out all that much.
Right. Now,
but still, a worthwhile, a kind of a deep dive for a Van Halen song.
Yeah.
From the Van Hagar era.
I mean,
great. I think it's somewhat of an underappreciated song.
Very much
so. I'm glad they dug that one up.
This, I know you're not going to agree with this because you're not a fan of this song, but this song sort of reminded me of Black and Blue from '88. Not that it sounds like it, but that it was the first lead single that really got lost in the sauce. It just sort of dissipated. It really didn't pick up much steam. And then the next single in '88, When It's Love, in 1995, Can't Stop Loving You, they kind of got the spotlight. But these two songs, I really enjoy Black and Blue. I love Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do even more. If you listen to the original vocals on this, holy fucking shit. Sammy is ripping on that. He is ripping on that. Yeah. That's prime
that
Hagar
guitar
right
work
there.
is great on that, too. That's one of the better Van Halen songs from the Sammy era. I mean, certainly one of the hardest and heaviest.
They also neutered the song of its guitar. I mean, that song's long. That song's like 6 minutes long on the album. But it's fantastic, and we talked about it when we did the Balance record. But we on to the next one. Sammy's been busy, guys. Sammy has been busy. He participated in Dave Mason and the Quarantines. Now, we all know guitarist and vocalist Dave Mason, originally from Traffic, and he has gone solo for many, many years. His 1968 classic, Feeling All Right. Everybody knows that song. What an incredible classic song that is. Well, he got a bunch of his buddies together. Dave Mason got Sammy Hagar with Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac. He got Michael McDonald, Pat Simmons, John McPhee, and Tom Johnston from the Doobie Brothers. And holy shit, they put together Feeling All Right. And I tell you, it really brought a tear to my eye, this thing, and I'll tell you why. Because they don't make rock stars like these guys anymore, folks. And it's just so I suggest everybody look this up on YouTube, soak it up, because these are real pros delivering a classic track. So good, so fun. It was nice to see Sam in the mix. Sam takes the second verse, Dave Mason takes the first, and then Michael McDonald takes the third, and then the fourth verse is Michael McDonald with Dave Mason, and Sam's in there, and Mick Fleetwood looking like Tommy Chong, by the way. It was sort of funny. Here's a clip.
Boy, you sure took me for one big ride. And every now and then I wonder why. And when I think of you, I stop myself to cry. I can't waste my time. I must get dry. Stop believing in all your lies. Too much to do.
These guys just sound absolutely amazing here. So this was fun. What did you think of this, Dave?
Yeah, that was a nice version. Wasn't Joe Cocker the one that who's got the best known version of
Well,
it?
he
Right?
kind of made it super famous with his version, for sure.
But they did, yeah.
I love Joe Cocker, too. But what's better than last name Cocker for a rocker, right? I mean, unbelievable. I know Dave tried to change his last name to Cocker once, and that didn't work out so well, but he stuck with Marconi. But this was good. This was fun. I thought Sam did a great job. I thought he fit in great with those legends, because he's one himself.
He totally did. And, you got, those Doobie Brother harmonies
Oh, my
there.
God. Those guys
You can't go wrong. They really did the song justice.
Please. Those guys are unbelievable. Now, speaking of Sam, in the time that we last had our Van Halen news, Sam announced the concert and it got canceled all within the same time. So the Red Rocker was scheduled to headline the 17th annual Rockin' for Kids for Cleveland's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, along with the Ohio weather band Brother Trouble and Ira Dean. And however, it's been canceled, obviously, due to state regulations on public gatherings because of the pandemic. It was a $250 ticket per show. The show was sold out, but of course, it got canceled. Now, if you remember the last Van Halen news that we had, we talked about a show on September 5th that Sammy and the Circle were scheduled to do at Thunder Valley Resort. That show has been canceled, as well as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame show, and there's no rescheduled date on that. So I don't think there's going to be much to see out there this coming fall. What do you think, Dave?
Sam's show, it was like grand opening, grand close.
That's right. It's like a bad Broadway show, opening and closing in the same night.